Let's start with the reality of an internal auditor's day. The traditional baseline is built on physical evidence, manual work papers, and an endless stream of tick marks used to verify compliance. Due to limited budgets, we test just 5% of transactions, hoping it represents the whole. This creates massive risk. While we test that sliver, we pray the other 95% is compliant. If fraud hides in the unchecked rows, traditional methods miss it entirely. To compound the problem, gathering this physical evidence, building out the work papers, and going through review cycles takes months. By the time that final report actually reaches the audit committee, the data is already stale. Traditional manual auditing delivers historical accuracy for a very narrow subset of information, but it leaves the organization strategically blind to present and future risks. Then comes the pitch for AI, robotic process automation, and advanced analytics. The promise here is that you can ingest the entire population of data, testing every single transaction and eliminating sampling risk entirely. Instead of the sluggish, staggered phases of planning, fieldwork, and quarterly reporting, automated platforms create a continuous feedback loop. Data flows in, gets evaluated in real time, and generates immediate predictive outputs. But flipping the switch from manual testing to predictive algorithms requires a shift in how the audit team operates day to day. As an audit leader, you have to weigh the heavy upfront costs and the operational disruption. You have to decide if implementing AI will actually make your team faster, or if it will just drown them in an unmanageable flood of data. Upgrading to AI changes the daily focus from the mechanics of data collection to the complexity of data interpretation. It replaces the time spent checking boxes with time spent analyzing patterns. Let's look at the first major trade-off: data coverage. The manual approach is highly efficient to start. Relying on a small sample saves time up front, allowing auditors to get right into testing. The penalty is the massive sampling risk we carry by ignoring the rest of the data. Deploying data analytics solves this. It ingests the entire population, achieving 100% coverage and zero sampling risk. But here is the catch. Algorithms are rigid, and they will flag absolutely every single deviation from the established rule. This creates the exception handling trap. Your team now has to spend hours sifting through thousands of automated flags to figure out what is a genuine risk and what is just a poorly tagged legitimate business exception. To handle this volume, your team has to pivot. Basic tick mark execution is no longer enough. They need advanced data interpretation skills and nuanced business judgment. While AI secures the coverage you want, it replaces the anxiety of missing data with the heavy operational tax of processing false positives. The next trade-off is timing and follow-ups. When we follow up on audit recommendations manually, we typically wait for the next quarter. We rely on pulling aging reports and checking in with departments months after an audit is closed. The consequence of this lag is severe. Unresolved risks sit there and grow over quarters before the audit committee is ever made aware.
Modern compliance platforms utilize continuous monitoring. By connecting directly to live business systems, they catch control failures the second they happen. But achieving this requires complex initial integrations. It also demands a culture shift, where management must accept constant pings from the audit team, rather than relying on a quiet, scheduled review. Real-time detection forces the audit function out of a predictable quarterly routine and into constant, active friction with management. The final and most critical area to weigh is the output and strategic value. The traditional manual output focuses heavily on historical compliance, giving you high certainty regarding what happened yesterday. While historical tick marking is easy to document, it offers the C-suite zero strategic value regarding tomorrow's threats. Predictive data analytics takes a different path. AI models identify hidden patterns and correlations across entirely different organizational datasets. For example, the software might correlate high localized HR turnover with a spike in financial control failures, isolating a warning zone before it actually impacts the P&L. When you can provide that level of foresight, internal audit elevates its status to a strategic advisor that anticipates risks. The ultimate trade-off is talent. To deliver this value, your auditors have to abandon simple rule checking and develop sophisticated analytical and modeling skills. The ROI of AI is the department's new capacity to act as a predictive business partner. You move from documenting what already happened to anticipating what might happen next. Before you buy any AI vendor software, you must lay the groundwork. The foundation has to be a robust, dynamically updated, risk-based internal audit universe. This diagram illustrates the steps to develop a risk-based plan, a continuous cycle aligning priorities with organizational challenges. Your AI tools must map directly to this universe, focusing computing power exclusively on the highest risk nodes identified during assessment. A common trap is pointing your AI at low-risk areas simply because that data is clean and easily accessible. That wastes resources and generates useless exceptions. Without a prioritized risk framework directing its focus, AI is effectively useless and potentially a massive distraction. Here is the reality check. AI is not magic. It trades the physical tedium of manual data gathering for the complexity of data interpretation. So map your next steps based on your maturity. If your data is siloed, messy, or physical, do not buy AI yet. Spend your budget standardizing your methodologies and digitizing your work papers first. If your team is drowning in repetitive frameworks like SOC 2 or ISO 27001, your first move should be adopting basic automation platforms specifically designed to handle routine evidence collection. But if your data is centralized and your team has analytical skills, investing in custom predictive AI models is mandatory to justify your value to the board. Evaluate your own workflow this week. Are you spending more time gathering data or interpreting it? Let us know in the comments which part of your audit process needs AI first.